Hey guys, it's Paul, combat veteran, MMA fighter, YouTuber, and today we are checking out the second half of Escape from Tarkov Raid Episode 4. But, as always, before we get started, hit that like button. Please, it tells the YouTube algorithm that I am making quality content and that I'm not just some clickbait yahoo. And, of course, if you like this content and want to see more of my reactions to video games, films, movies, and all sorts of other random stuff out there in the YouTube universe, please hit subscribe. And once you've done that, let's get into Escape from Tarkov Raid Episode 4, Part 2. Alright, his battle buddy's kind of screwed up there, man. He was supposed to be on Firewatch, and he fell asleep. That's pretty uncool.
От тебя-то мы искали.
All right. Again, kind of weird. I guess. I don't know. I gotta say, I'm sort of surprised that they both ended up falling asleep. Normally, you absolutely are going to do a handoff between fire watches, right? The previous person will have his watch. They'll see, hey, it's been 2 hours. They're going to wake up their battle buddy. They're going to make sure their battle buddy's up and moving and in position, and then they'll go to sleep, right? You would never just sort of hope that they get up on their own for their fire watch shift, right? That's a classic. That's a rookie basic training sort of error. Again, it's a little tough. I imagine if you've been wounded, right? Blood loss, fatigue, those are all sort of things that go together. Yeah, really curious to see if we ever find out what's in the container.
Что-то нажимать. Прием.
Alright, he seems to have a really good sense of, again, just how incredibly hard it is to, cross or approach friendly lines in a hostile area when you don't have something like comms. And you see he's showing he's no threat, obviously, by holding his gun in a safe way, finger off the trigger, magazine in the other hand. That's a really smart move, almost universally, right? Anytime you have a gun and someone else has a gun, you want to take all the steps necessary to avoid an accidental confrontation.
Вода мокрая. Вода мокрая.
Пошел, пока не ёбнули.
Блин, пароль. Вода мокрая.
Ты не русский, что ли?
Да русский я, блядь. Пароль проверьте.
Продух твой пароль. Без спецпропуска ехай нахуй.
Сука, какой еще нахер пропуск? Дежурного офицера мне, блядь, позови сюда.
1 минуту. Не кладите трубку.
Вот так-то. Да чё?
Yeah, that's, again, that is a real protocol, right? A continuously changing password, and that's usually done to prevent an enemy force that has good intel from being able to, of course, determine your password, right? If it changes every 24 hours, then you are going to be able to always stay one step ahead of the enemy, so to speak, right? So even if they hear your old password, that's only good for a couple hours. By the time they get organized and come up with a plan, you'll have a new, usually it's a challenge in password, right? So instead of water is wet, someone would say, they would just go, hey, water, and someone else would go, wet, or you might ask it. You'd be like, how's the water? They go, I don't know, I got my notepad wet, and you would hear wet, and you'd be like, got it. Right? So that way, even if someone else is listening to you, they don't know what the combination is in the words you just said, right? So it could have been like in the scenario I just gave, maybe the keywords were, how, and the response was, notebook. Who knows, right? This makes it a little harder.
Заебись, поговорили. Офигеть, тебе возьму этот пропуск. Блин. Ну вас нахуй. Походу придется навестить огрызка.
Братан, что надо? Руки повыше подними.
Yeah, honestly, I can't speak for Russian areas from firsthand experience, but I will tell you that in Afghanistan, man, these sort of folks were everywhere. Usually they would have some official title. They'd be like provincial governor or like deputy district director or like deputy police chief, but the informal power they had was 10 or 15 times as great. And like this guy, they would have their own little security detail that maybe was like, maybe those two were like, informal police or had, again, some official role, but it was just really a cover for the fact that they were sort of his goons.
Тут у тебя какой-то пассажир. Я пока в железку разберу.
Слышал, ты тут всем местным ритейлом рулишь? Я хочу купить билеты с Таркова. Или что там у вас? Карта? Может, QR-код? Я думаю, этого хватит.
Нет, ни к чему.
А кто может заинтересоваться?
Вещь хозяйская. Никто связываться не станет.
Я думал, ты серьезный коммерсант.
У тебя тут автомат заболел.
Хорошо, что хоть не помер.
Слышь ты, Петросян,
А чё так хуёво пружину смазали?
Скажи спасибо, что не погнули. В следующий раз вообще нахер раскидаем.
слышь ты, серьезный, приноси свой хабар. Через 2 часа к радарам.
Ну вот, увидимся, пацаны.
Давай.
Okay, interesting. Kind of a dick move to field strip somebody's gun and just set it down. Keeping the internals of a gun clean is a huge pain in the ass. And setting it down like that is on the dirt or on the ground is kind of a dick move. Obviously, they sort of made that clear. Again, sort of surprised. I want to see if they actually stripped the attachments off his weapon or if they literally just field stripped it and left it there. That said, an AK is notoriously easy to break down and put back together. So it literally could have been just an asshole move.
Давай, не опаздывай.
All right, the other thing I gotta say, I don't know why he walked off without putting his gun back together. Maybe he didn't want to be seen like actively making his weapon more dangerous while the guards were there. Again, I'll also say this, when you have formal military forces, there's a certain baseline level of discipline and protocol that you can expect from them. But when you have irregular forces or poorly trained forces, it's like all bets are off. So you almost have to treat them with kid gloves, right? Because that's what they can be like. They can be like middle schoolers with AKs. And it can be really nerve-wracking in a lot of ways. It's almost less nerve-wracking to deal with professional soldiers because those professional soldiers have bosses that will discipline them and have extensive training, whereas who knows who trained these random yahoos at the gate or at this doorway. So I can sort of understand why he might adapt or adopt this sort of very like neutral, deferential posture towards these guys, right? Because a lot of the time you get, again, think about the dumbest person who just wishes they had a little bit of authority and would almost certainly abuse it, right? We all have that friend or that person that we knew, and a lot of times that's who the folks are who enter these sort of irregular armed force guard type roles. All right, guys, that is it for Escape from Tarkov episode 4. I really enjoyed it. I think this is going in a great direction. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. If you want to see more of my reactions to video games, movies, short films, you name it, and lots of other goofy stuff too, be sure to subscribe. And of course, let me know in the comments below if there is other stuff that you really want me to check out. I'm open to suggestions. As long as it's not going to get totally copyright claimed, I'll check it out. And until next time, I will see you guys later.